This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Join us as we talk trending topics, world and local issues, and the conversations that we need to talk about as people. Get Off My Lawn Live is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's your boy, Eric Buckner. E. Beezy in the building. What's going on? Once again, we are here for another episode of my podcast, Get Off My Lawn Live. Thank you for joining me wherever you may be, here or around the world this pleasant evening. Shout out to the people here on the book, as well as people catching me on YT. And of course, people here on the Bigo platform. What up, Bigo? What's going on with you? Already we got my good buddy Road to Stardom checking in. What's going on, Road? Thanks for coming through as always. Very strong supporter of all of us here at the Nighthawk Network. Very much appreciate you, Road. You know this. But at any rate, y'all, we are here today to discuss the usual trending topics, as well as a couple items up for bid this evening. Among them will be two very interesting discussions. At least I hope they are interesting to you guys. One involves family. In other words, what is your family's plans? What are the family planners doing in the family? What does that mean? What exactly am I getting at? We'll get to that, people. Stay tuned. Also, my friends, we want to talk about the fact that we are just a few of many. In other words, I need to talk to our fellow Americans about what really goes on with the rest of the world and us. We got to have some serious discussion about that, y'all, because we really not having a full understanding. We really is not getting certain things. So I definitely want us to have that discussion. I will tell you next week, we are setting up for another grab bag edition. So look forward to that. That will be next week's show. But this week, we're going to talk those topics and go from there. And then also, I'm going to have a discussion about some of the future potential guests of the show, because hopefully might be somebody I'm talking to right now, one of you guys. We want some of y'all to be on the show. We will tell you why and how and all that good stuff when we get to that part of the show. But in the meanwhile, we are here. We are ready. We are going to go to our first commercial break. After that, we will be back. We Get Off My Lawn Live to talk trending topics and check out what's going on around the world, at least around this part of the world. You know what I'm saying? So Get Off My Lawn Live. Eric Buckner, here I am. Let's do it, y'all. You know what it is. Here we go.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish the tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Who said that you can win? And who said it's too late to try again? Cause if you're breathing, that's your cue. God's not through using you. I choose life. I choose life. I choose life. I choose life. Get back up again and dream. Fight for your destiny. I choose life. choose life, 'cause life comes with so many changes. At times it feels like you're never gonna win, but hold your head, look to the sky. My God will never leave your side. I choose life. I choose life. I choose life.
And we are back. What's going on, y'all? Get off my lawn live in full effect. Your boy EBZ ready to talk to y'all. This time of the show, you know what we do. We talk trending topics of the week. Not much to discuss in regards to that. The major thing going on in terms of our government this week, they are discussing the massive bill that they have put front and forward the Congress in regards to true infrastructure and change. There are many, many things in this $3.1 trillion bill that could be very beneficial to the American people. It's basically going to have to be hashed out. The plan basically is to have it be a bipartisan bill, but there's already a discussion of using the majorities that we have in the Congress in terms of Democrat to pass the bill anyway. Will that happen? We will see. As we get closer to the possible passing of the bill, we will talk more about what's actually in it. There are many things: healthcare, education, infrastructure in cities, job growth, all that type of stuff. Yes, Lord, I choose life. Thank you for checking in. Who that might be? Let me see. That would be Miss Pat. What's going on, Miss Pat? How are you? Fluffy Boss also checking in on Bigo. What's going on, Fluffy? Thanks for coming through. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. But yes, friends. Yes, hey, Miss Pat, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. But yes, my friends, that is going on. Of course, in the world of television, we have a lot of these season premieres happening this week on the major networks, that be ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. Among them are the new seasons of The Masked Singer. There's a whole new competition also called The Alter Ego, where basically they are putting some type of AI type scenario to go along with the people that are singing the songs. So they are their basically computer image self as opposed to what they really look like. These appear to be normal everyday people, not your typical singers or famous folks. Interesting to see that. And of course, yes, definitely going here, Mr. Hunter. What's going on, Pride? I can't wait to check out the new Wonder Years reboot. Yes, that will also be this week. I do believe they're going to start the season of This Is Us to be the final season of This Is Us, I might add. And also the reboot of Frasier, I believe, starts sometime this week as well. So yeah, there are definitely some things that I am curious about to see how they work out. There are also several other reboots and such in the works. Whether they come out now or later, don't know. Speaking of new debuts, The Real will be back. I believe that is this week as well. They will be back in studio after a couple of years of dealing with it the COVID way. Interesting to see how that dynamic goes. I have to be honest, I'm really thinking this is going to be the last year or two of The Real, based on how it's set up at the moment. Why I think that we'll probably get into it in another show, but yeah, that's my personal thought. Wendy Williams, season 13, actually is going to be postponed. That was supposed to start tomorrow, but for those of you who don't know, Wendy has come up with COVID. Wendy has tested positive for COVID and she has been hospitalized. Now, we don't know if those two things are the same or because of one of the other, but that appears to be the report. So, at the moment, they have postponed the opening of season 13 of her show till 2 weeks from now. Also, would not be surprised if this is the last year or two of Wendy for, again, various reasons we'll talk about on another day. All right. Absolutely. Absolutely, Pride. What's going on, Miss Pat? Thank you guys for checking in. So, yeah, that is what's going on in the news. Of course, we got to talk about COVID for a quick minute. The numbers actually going down this week, but not by a great margin. There is concern, particularly here now in Detroit. The Beaumont chain of hospitals has announced that unless you have a severe emergency or you have COVID, of course, you should then come to the hospital. If not, if it's something regular, you just need to get stitched up, Band-Aid, that type of stuff, then no, don't come here. We don't have room. We don't have time. Part of the problem is, we're starting to run out of the specialty beds and ventilators and whatnot. The second part of the problem, the more important part, is the fact that we're starting to run out of medical people, okay? People are starting to leave the profession. They tired, y'all. They are tired of us not dealing with COVID correctly. They're tired of us taking it as a joke. They're tired of having to work 12, 13-hour shifts, see people die day after day after day, and quite frankly, some of them, they just retiring from the job. Some people, they just straight up quitting the job and moving on to other things. And as a result, now we have less people on deck. There are actually a couple of states now that have incorporated the National Guard to help out in terms of hospitalizations and things because they are running out of healthcare workers. So this is something we have to be mindful of. Also keep in mind, schools have started back. Some school districts have experienced some COVID outbreaks, but nothing major at this point in most places. But we definitely got to keep an eye on that because, as you know, the temperatures are going to be closer to normal in the course of the next few days. So as it gets colder, we will see. Okay, comments here. Prior to saying, please cancel that trash Wendy Williams show. Yep, basically, Wendy is that type of individual. Either you love her or you can't stand her. So I'm not surprised it feels that way. I'm sure some of you do as well. Miss Yachty, how are you? Thanks for coming in, checking out the podcast. Appreciate you. Tran Chun, what's going on? I Googled it. IR said that Wendy Williams was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. She's going through so much. My prayers are given to her. And that also has been reported as a possibility. You know, TMZ spoke on that the other day. Keep in mind, TMZ I only take as slightly creditable. So I tend not to report things that I found out primarily from them. I like to do a little bit more research before I put that out there for public consumption. It's 41 schools in Baltimore that have COVID. Actually, there are 67 schools that have had multiple cases, but in order for it to be an outbreak, they kind of like to look at it in terms of tens and hundreds and such. So no major outbreaks is what I'm reporting at this time, Ms. Pat. But there are a couple school districts, particularly down there in Florida, that are having some COVID issues. Particularly the positivity rate down there in Florida, almost 20% in certain counties. Not good. Not good at all. But yeah, we're not going to dwell on that too much right now. Those are our trending topics. We are going to move on. We're going to take a slight commercial break. Just a quick one. Then we get back. We're going to discuss this subject right here, my friends. We are going to talk about family planners. What exactly do I mean by that? I will break it all down to you after we get back from this commercial break. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. I'm your boy, E. Beezy. So glad to be here with you tonight to talk. Check you in a second.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Unscripted talk on police reform and race relations.
And now, Behind the Blue Curtain's law enforcement liaison, retired 32-year Chicago police veteran, homicide detective, former commander, sergeant, grant writer, lecturer, and adjunct professor, Joseph J. Mosley.
Behind the Blue Curtain's Minister of Common Sense, former 12-year Fort Worth police officer, educator, voice of reason, and unapologetic practitioner of sound judgment, the young scholar, LaRonda Young.
Behind the Blue Curtain's co-host, fact checker, and investigative journalist, Isidoro Rodriguez.
The views and opinions expressed here on Get Off My Lawn Live are those of the host or his guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its associates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised.
All right, y'all, we are back. Get Off My Lawn Live. In effect, your boy Eric Buck in the building to talk to y'all. And right now, what we talking about? We talking about this subject right here, family planning. So let me break it down. Here's what it boils down to. We, as people, are born into some type of family situation, whether it be a single parent or double parent household, living with a guardian, living in a group or community of people, living in some type of communion or cult even. Whatever the case may be, we are born into that situation. And as a result, as children, we learn, as I often talk about, in two major ways. One, from what we are taught by people, and two, from what we observe as young people. That being said, the world has opened back up. We are back to going to school and going to work and going out and about on vacations and whatnot. And as a result, the family unit is back operating as quote unquote normal. Of course, with some key exceptions to that rule. Now, that being said, my question to you is, what is your family's plan? What is your end game? What do you got going on with the family? Is it something you really thought about? Let's talk about this, shall we? Now, first of all, understand, you as a parent, primary job is to get that child across the finish line. The finish line pretty much being when they become an adult, quote unquote adult. Now, according to the law of the land, for most places, you are an adult at 18 years of age. But according to what we know, not only from raising children, but from being children at some point in time, that's not always the case. Just because you turn 18 don't make you grown. We know this. Some people will say you're not grown till you're out on your own. Some people, that may not never happen. There are people more and more every year now staying with their parents, living with them. Understand that that's not unusual in other countries, mind you. Some we'll talk about a little bit more on the second end of the conversations this evening. But for us Americans, ideally, the idea is to basically go ahead, get your school on, graduate high school, figure out what you're going to do about college, trade school, whatever, and then move forward. Now, that being said, how have we set up our family to work in that manner? Okay. One of the things that President Biden talked about in his campaign is the creation of generational wealth for lower income Americans, particularly Americans who are African American and minority. What that means is that we are trying to create systems to where we're not all starting behind the eight ball once we become adults, that we barely made it to adulthood, our households barely functioned at all, and now here we are taking our turn in the struggle. You know, the saying is, don't be me, be better than me. In order to do that, you have to be set up to succeed. So my question is, are you setting up your family structure to succeed? Here's some of the things I want you to think about. When your kids go to school tomorrow, are they fully aware of what to do in all systems? What do you mean, E? Check it out. Let's put a scenario out there, shall we? Kids go to school. They're in class. They get a substitute teacher. Substitute teacher says, y'all ain't got to wear the mask today. Take all that mess off your desk. Matter of fact, everybody just sit on the floor and we're just going to kick it old school. Why are you taking off the mask, sir? My mama said, my daddy said. Is your child that child? Or is your child that child? Or is your child the child that's just gonna pretty much go with the flow? That no matter what is said by said adult, they have been taught or at least have the understanding that yeah, we gotta listen to whatever adults tell us to do. All right, H2 in the building, bold and proudly. Hello, H2, nasty mouth sucker. But anyway, that's when my child would get up and leave and call me. Now, see, your family is set up in that way. This is what I'm asking everybody else in the room. Is your family set up in that way? If something out of the ordinary happens while that child is in school, does he have instructions to call you? It's about every child pretty much 10 years and older has one of these bad boys, okay? Are they aware that, yeah, if certain things go down in school, call home immediately? And if not, you're not available because of work, do they know who to call in case you're not available? Is there a list of people for that child to call? Is those numbers already programmed in the phone? More importantly, if that phone is taken away, battery dies, what have you, does your child have any idea how to get in contact with you? Do they recognize a number that is yours? Do they know somebody's number by heart? Do they know their address by heart? I imagine most of these children who are 7 years and younger can tell you somebody's passcode to the Xbox or the PlayStation 4 or to the tablet, but do not even know their physical address in terms of, okay, where do you live, little boy, little girl? I live at 11 blah, 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 blah. Or like, I live in the yellow house on a block, you know, what are they telling the authorities? No, because a lot of children don't have plans for nothing. Exactly. So that is part of the question I'm asking you, parents in the room, guardians in the room. Is your child set up to succeed, or is your child set up to fail? Is your family set up to win? Or are you set up to lose? Are you just basically living day to day, or do you have future plans? All right. Prior to saying the what is your mother's name, little kid? Exactly. Do your children know your maiden name? Do they know your government in the event something happens? Understand, as much as I hate to admit this, we know it's going to happen. At some point in the school year, there's going to be a Columbine-like situation. Knock on wood, I pray that doesn't happen, but based on what we've seen in the past, it's almost a given. Don't know where it's going to happen, don't know when it's going to happen, don't know what school district is going to happen, but can pretty much bet my bottom dollar that it will. And when that happens, is your child ready to deal with that in any way, shape, or form? Do you have even any concerns about that? Are you so caught up in just you yourself and what's going on in your life, and your kid is just a small extension of that, that you even worry about what your kids may think or may do in case of some type of emergency? All right, we got comments. Keep them coming, y'all. My only concern is a lot of pre-K and kindergarten kids and taking their mask off and trading the mask because they like their classmates. And yes, we did talk about that last week. For example, as another example, do your children know that they probably shouldn't trade masks with the other children and why that is important not to do? Why that is not in their best interest to do that? Have you fully explained that? Do they have a full understanding of why they are wearing their masks to school? What COVID is about, or have you tried to shield them from all of that because you yourself don't want to think about it? You yourself don't look at the news. You yourself don't keep up with what's going on. Do you even know your school has a mask mandate, or do you just drop the child off and then a couple of days later, the kid's like, oh yeah, Ma, I need a mask. We got to wear masks. Is that how you getting your information? You just wait till the kid has to tell you something and then do it? The answer for some of you parents, unfortunately, is yes. Some states don't wear a mask, absolutely. But then, okay, let's just say you have a learned child, JK, and that child has learned about COVID, whether it be in class or from other classmates. and see that some of the class is wearing masks, some of them not. So then they ask you, Mom, why we ain't got to wear no masks? Why we crazy in Florida, for example? At that point, do you have a discussion about it? Or do you just say, well, you know, some places they do, some places you don't, you ain't got to worry about it. We all know that we have different thoughts about COVID. That goes without saying. But I don't want this just to be a COVID conversation. Georgia, yep, another perfect example. Basically, those 4 or 5 states in particular, Texas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, pick one of those 5. The way they deal with COVID, I just don't agree with. I will leave it at that. But no, this is just not a COVID conversation. This is a parenting conversation, a guardian conversation. Because here's the thing. Every day, people are disappearing, y'all. Our kids are getting taken from the streets, and we don't know where they are. Every day, kids are being recruited to gangs. They are being asked to sell narcotics. They are basically doing a variety of different things that we don't know they're doing. They are experimenting with drugs, with alcohol. They are having unprotected sex, a variety of different things. And if you are a parent, you may know that their kids can come and talk to you about these things, or they tell you these things happen, or you may not know any of it. You may be so caught up in just running the operation of household that you do not pay attention to the employer people of the household. Understand, kids, they have a mind of their own, very much so. But that mind is not fully formulated, okay? Say it out. I'm not quite sure what you're going with that one, Jackie. Expound, please. But okay, Road is saying, when I was a kid, remember my home number, but I didn't know my mom's job number by heart. Exactly. And I did not, oh no, it's not that I didn't know. I actually was carrying a wallet once middle school started, and I had the numbers in there. I do recall that. That is something that my mom actually talked about. All right, here's the number to my job, gave me her business card. Something happened, call work, but only call work if it's necessary. Absolutely necessary. Because in the end, if my mom had to be called from work, and more importantly, if she had to come from said job, to come up to the school or come home early, it better be a darn good reason. Otherwise, JJ, my man, you in trouble. You in trouble. But yeah, these are things that I want to inquire about, things I want you as people who are parents to think about. Another example. Remember many years ago when one fateful day, the power went out in several states for no unknown reason at that time? Now, fortunately, that happened during the summer. But what if that happens during the fall? And suddenly power is out. So yeah, well, yeah, my kids can call. Oh, but wait, no power. So yeah, the phone charged up, sure. But if there's no power, then your ability to get a phone call is compromised, because remember, phone signal, satellite, back to phone. No power, no energy to satellite, no phone, no phone. Landlines, very few of us have a landline these days. So there is that. Okay, Miss Pat is saying, my friend told her grandson not to change his mask, but when she picked him up, he had another classmate's mask on. I don't believe either, Mr. Buckner. So true experimenting with different kinds of drugs. I don't understand if marijuana is legalized, but why is it still on job applications to get a job? That, my friends, is a whole nother story. So, yeah, we'll actually get into that in a second, Miss Pat. That's actually something I do want to kind of talk about briefly. Great Good Times reference, kid. Yep, you recall. You know, I often have movie and television references. You know, I was a TV and movie junkie as a child, so it just naturally flows into the conversation, Brad. You know this. But yeah, in terms of what these kids are doing and have privy to beyond the realm of what you know them to know, that is part of the issue. There are some of you who are satellite parents that you have full knowledge of what goes on because you are on your child's social media sites. You have access to their phone. You have GPS on the phone, so you know where they are at all times. But do you know what they're doing at all times? Do you have a body cam on that child? Do you have a recording device on that child? Probably not. So yeah, you may think you know little man and boo boo, but yeah, outside of your presence, they may be a whole different person. Hopefully, you took the time that we were given during COVID to get to know your children a little better. Did you not understand that was probably a good usage of that time? I saw it as such. So now that they're back out in the real world, perhaps they feel more comfortable coming to you and saying, "Hey, mom, this is going on at school. What do you think?" Or, "Hey, mom, my friends think I should do this. What do you think?" And hopefully, as parents, you're not just going to jump on them like, "Hell no, don't do that, you stupid son." No, no. You're going to look at it more as, okay, let us talk about this, my friend. Yeah, you shouldn't do this, and this is why. Understand a lot of us grew up with that. Why can't I do this? Because I said so. You heard me. Just don't do it. And that was just supposed to be sufficient. When the adults were in the room, it was get out of here. Don't be in grown folks' business. But don't you understand, my dad? One day, Lord willing, I'm going to be grown folks. And if I don't know how grown folks handle business, when I become a grown folks, how I'm supposed to handle the business. One of the best things that my mother did was at one point when I came close to adulthood, say, look, I can't do this stuff. This is why. You see this phone bill, this electric bill, this light bill, this insurance bill, blah, 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 blah. Now look at my check. You see how much money I get? You see how much these bills are? This is why we can't buy designer clothes and like this and like that. Why you can't be like the little homies. You want to eat, don't you? I done showed you all these bills. I ain't showed you not am grocery bill, have I? When you get grown, you will understand. I understood then. I really did. But I understand even more so now. Every day it's like, okay, I want to do this, but I got to pay that. I want to do this and this, but I got to pay that. For some of y'all, it's not even that. Some of y'all look at life as, okay, I ain't worried about what I got to pay later. I'm trying to have fun right now. I'm trying to do this right now. I'm trying to live my best life today. I ain't worried about no tomorrow. And your kids see that you live your life like that. So they in turn feel like that is that. Remember the part of the conversation where I said kids learn from what you tell them, but they also learn from the examples that you set observing you. Talk to your kids, absolutely, JK. Talk to them. Because what you think they know or what they should know is not always understood, my friend. We have not all been parents, but I promise you, y'all was not test tube babies for real. Y'all all were kids at some point. So remember what it was like when you were a kid and what was said and what was not said. Remember those days because those kids have grown up now and they got kids of their own. But the world that we grew up in is way different now, okay? We didn't have cell phones growing up. We didn't have computers with all these evil things on the computer. We did not have all these social media outlets. We did not have all these extra channels on television that show us shows that back in the day would probably get us slapped for even having them on our TV. No matter what they say, absolutely. Thank you, Lushy. Appreciate it. But yeah, friends, we have to gain these understandings moving forward, okay? The world is constantly changing and evolving, and we as a family unit have to evolve with it. Your children need to understand that, yeah, things happen. Nobody knew COVID was coming, maybe a few folks over there in Wuhan and places like that, but the world itself, we didn't know COVID was coming. Lord knows we didn't know it was going to affect us the way that it has, and we sure as heck didn't expect it to last this long. We had no plans for any of that. But certain things we can plan for. What happens in case of an emergency? What do you think about teenagers not wanting to go to college? Excellent question. We definitely going there. Yeah, emergency situations where there is no power, where there is a bad weather situation and you don't have time to get to the kids, where there are school violence that break out, things of that nature. What is the instructions you have given your child, if any? Do you let them know? Okay, when that happens, you get the smurf out of there. Bring your butt straight home. If that happens, you go to the safest place you can find in the school, and as soon as you can contact me, and let me know you okay. Is there a certain function on the phone you can be like, okay, SOS, and it sends the GPS signal to mom and them. Another excellent point here, Ro. My parents didn't tell me I need to save my money and get a bank account. I just observed and did it on my own. Excellent. But most kids, they have no real concept of money, at least us American children. Why? Mama, I won't. Daddy, I won't. Now, you usually deal with that one of two ways. If you are that parent, you want what, baby? You come on like T.I. You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. Yeah. PS4 on deck. Get some ice. Whatever clothes. You can have whatever you like. Exactly. That part. So, yeah, you just give them stuff. They ain't earned it. They just feel entitled now because whenever they wanted something as children, they got it. And I know it's partly because you think, okay, as a kid, I couldn't get what I want, but I can afford these things. So I'm going to have my child get the things that I could not have as children. So that's why you do it. Start them on a savings account first. Yeah, also true. Pride is saying, I never realized how lucky I was. I had a job in a bank account at like 13, I think. I had a job at 11. I didn't get bank account till 15. But again, recognize Jackie and Road and Pride. We are the exceptions, not the rule. Most of these children had not that. Do they even do allowance these days? We had an allowance, and we had to earn said allowance. If chores weren't done, school weren't properly dealt with, behavior wasn't on point, there was no payment. None at all. So yeah, I don't think many kids even have allowance. They just ask for money, and either they just get money, or you tell them some old mess, and that leads them to deal with it in other ways. For you parents that are not traditional in your job, in other words, you get your money by alternative means. In other words, you out here hustling. You out here selling dinners, or you got do the lawn hustle or shovel the snow hustle, those types of things. Do you explain to your children, okay, this is not necessarily the route I prefer you to go. This just works for me. Do you have talks about future job possibilities and what you might want to do when you grow up? I know some of your parents talk about that to a degree, but I mean, seriously have discussions. Explain to little boo-boo and man that everybody is not going to be a basketball superstar. or the next America's Top Model, or the next Academy Award winner or Grammy nominee. Some people, they just gonna be basic person A with basic job A. And guess what? That's not a bad thing. We need people to be custodians. We need people to be people to pick up trash. We need mail carriers, just like we need all those other folks. And they need to have that understanding. All right, hold on. Prior to saying, I had the job early, but my aunt helped me open up a bank account at 1213. My grandma, rest in peace, opened up a restaurant and I worked there. Yes, please keep people in our Nighthawk network like Pride in your prayers. Death has hit us pretty hard these last few months. I actually lost a family member recently. So please pray for us in regards to that, for strength and healing, because we all need it. Get that education, learn as much as possible. Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier to somebody, don't just get that education. Keep getting an education. Keep learning. You should never stop learning. Every time you wake up to see another day is an opportunity to learn something new and different and special, regardless of age. Please take that opportunity. But yes, family, is our family set up to succeed? Are we set up to be better people? Are we truly raising our children in the ways that we want them to learn? Or are we just basically running them along till they get 18, and then after that, well, I was on my own, your turn, next. Understand, if you have a large family, are you taking the proper time to spend quality time with the whole family as well as individually? Helena Hologram is here in the room. She comes from a large family unit. Did your family take the time to spend individual time with the kids? In other words, take you, just you, H2, and say, okay, I'm going to spend a little time with you today, and then your brother tomorrow, and so on and so forth. I think that's very important. Keep in mind, I have 2 other brothers, okay? It was very good for me to have some quality time with one of my parents to me myself. It rarely happened. But when it did, I appreciated it for that. We tend to have some of the better discussions that way. Okay, JK says she does. That's good. That's very good. Being a child from a sibling family, I feel like that is important. Yeah, I know they say you should treat every child the same, but guess what? We are all not the same. We are all uniquely different in our own way, and you should get to know your children on that level. Okay, I'm really going to pray that some parents take this a little more serious. Absolutely, H2. We spent time together too many to do one-on-one. Yeah, understood. That's why I'm asking this question. But do you not think that would have been a valuable experience, H2, if you had that opportunity? That is my point. Are some people having too many kids? I'm not going to go as far to say that. If you can afford 10, 11 kids, if you're somebody like Eddie Murphy and you got $400, $500 million on deck, you can have many kids you want. You somebody like Nick Cannon and want to start having a whole bunch of folks have your baby. Nick Cannon got money like that. He can afford that. We ain't got that type of money, people. We ain't living like that. So we got to keep these things in mind in terms of the family plan. If the plan suddenly has 5 or 6 extra folks, we got to consider each and every one of their welfare as a group and individual. Because, yeah, you don't want to be the mom of the kid that didn't get as much attention as the rest of them. And now you're on the news like, I don't understand why you did that. He was a good boy. But meanwhile, there he is in his room plotting Columbine all over again. Don't say it can't happen. It just did a couple weeks ago. Look up the story. Do the research. They caught these kids just in time. They were about to, on 9/11, have a Columbine-type celebration and do it all over again. But fortunately, somebody spoke up and caught them just in the nick of time. But while that kid's out doing that, I promise you now, out here in this universe of ours, there is a child being bullied already in school, being treated badly, and it started all over again because of COVID. And now they're saying, yeah, sometime this year it's on. It's on and popping. I'm about to do homeboy. And if you are not involved in your child's life in that way, you have no idea that that ticking time bomb is sitting right there in your living room eating spaghetti right now. No idea. But my grandmother gave us one-on-one time. And see, that's another key point here. Before I go there, I want to go back to this previous point. Let me look that up. Hold on. The question was, what do you think about teenagers not wanting to go to college? This is my point. Now, actually, I'm going to do a topic on that a couple weeks from now. But for the time being, understand, college is not for everybody, but everybody should go. What do I mean by that? You want to tune in a few weeks, we'll talk about it. But I think you at least should have the opportunity to attend college if you so desire, so you can determine whether or not it is good for you or not. But it's a discussion that you definitely should have, and not wait till senior year of high school to have early on in high school. Thank you, B Stylist. Appreciate it. These are the discussions we need to have in general. What I'm saying, and keep in mind, I'm not a parent, so it's just a suggestion. We got to spend more time talking to our kids. Just like how we as African American parents have to talk to our kids about how to contend with the police, because we know those situations. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Never forget that sister. But yeah, we have those conversations now. There are other conversations we need to have about life, about finances, about dealing with other people, about not being dealt with incorrectly, about what happens if. These are the conversations I need you parents to start having more often with your children. Because keep in mind, there are some people like myself that don't have children, though we are children sympathetic. Other people, they don't have children and they hate them. They hate the little munchkins, the little crumb snatchers. They purposely don't have children. And guess what? They don't care about yours either. Could care less. So if they come along saying the wrong things and doing the wrong things, and they get dealt with out here in these streets, and then all of a sudden you got mad attitude, you go to deal with that person, then you come to find out your child created the situation. He the one called old boy a fat bee, or stole that man's motorcycle, or what have you. They are the person that caused the problem because you did not stress to them, yeah, son, you probably shouldn't steal other people's things. They tend not to like that. Not to like that. That type of stuff. Can't let our kids just grow up like weeds, hoping that they figure it out for themselves. Tell them be good, have a good day, and don't teach them how to do so. That is the problem. But parents need to understand that all children don't want to, are not ready for college, and some children want to go to a trade school. Absolutely, because like I said, some children, they don't want to do your stereotypical job. They want to do things with their hands. They have learned over the course of their school life that they are good at other things. Perfect example, I met a young man last week. He was very interested in what I do for a living, being a cook and a caterer. He wanted to talk about that. There are cooking schools, true enough, but there are also trade schools. But primarily what he wants to do, I suggested you don't necessarily need to go to school for. You know what you do, young man? You start investing in some of these, okay? Get you some cookbooks. This is a very good one, by the way. If you got Ninja Foodie Grill, get this cookbook. Excellent recipes in there. But yeah, start to watch the tutorials on YT on how to cook this, how to cook that. I've learned many recipes from that. I've created my own, just watching them like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that. H2 is pointing out some typical things you can go into. Cosmetology, welding, plumbing, HVAC. Don't you know a lot of these new furnaces and electronic devices in the house, they're gonna need people to service them. IT, very popular thing. You don't necessarily have to go to college for that. They have Dorsey business schools and things of that nature where you can learn to be an IT. You can learn it online. There are a lot of great online courses. Another great example, truck drivers. Lord knows they are hiring big time for truck drivers everywhere, particularly places like Amazon, FedEx, those types of places. They are definitely looking for truck drivers, and the pay is good. But also keep in mind, you may want to eventually earn your own truck. So perhaps you go to truck driving school and then you go to college and take business courses so that not only are you the truck driver, but you are also the boss. Parents do need to teach their children the basics when it comes to cooking. And that is a whole nother story. Your child got to be able to take care of themselves. Remember, tomorrow's not promised to any of us people. What if tomorrow you look up, you have a car accident, and guess what? Mommy can't cook no more because she's in the wheelchair, and the house is now wheelchair accessible. And as a result, now you have to kind of fend for yourself when it comes to that. Are you just going to assume that, no, we good? We just going to order DoorDash? I promise you, some of these kids think that. I promise you. Don't you know some of these children are getting DoorDash and Uber Eats brought to school for lunch? Crazy. But I witnessed it firsthand. Having a little technical difficulty. I think I can fix it on this end. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. We fixed it. So yeah, we took a little commercial break to fix that problem. It is fixed now. When we come back, we will basically finish this topic up, and then we will go into our second topic, which will be about the world and the fact that we are this part of the world, not the whole world. All right, y'all, we are back. The problem should be fixed now. You guys should be able to hear me okay. It's one of those crazy computer things that happen from time to time. But we got it together. In the meanwhile, people, we are again talking about family planning. Is your family set up to succeed? Are you having discussions with your children? Are they having discussions with you? Keep in mind, we're not just talking about the children in the family planning. There's also the discussions between mom and dad. Now, remember, all right, cool. Remember, some parents, they don't live together. Okay? Mom and daddy, they don't get along, but they still got to raise kids. So are those parents having discussions in regards to little man and little boo-boo? Are they on the same page? The little man talking to mama, but not telling daddy nothing, or vice versa. And if these things are something that both parents should know, is that line of communication strong enough to where they get discussed? There's that we have to consider. Keep in mind, some parents, they need help, much like H2 discussed here a little earlier. Let me go back to that comment. But my grandmother gave us one-on-one time. And our family unit, yes, for a period of time, my grandmother did take care of us while my mom was at work. And she definitely spent one-on-one time with us because, we had different interests. But, our grandmother, she took the time to take up our interests so that she too could have discussions with us about it. My grandmother was not a sports person, but because I like sports so much, she started watching Tiger baseball. So we could always call and talk Tiger baseball. Some nights I could even call her and we would be on the phone listening to the baseball game on the radio and talking about it. And she actually came to love Tiger baseball after a while. Tiger Woods was one of her favorite athletes, God rest her soul. We used to talk about him. So yeah, she took the time to take an interest in the things we were interested in. But do your parents do that? Do they sit down and be like, okay, what do you like to do? What do you think you would like to do? Do they encourage that? Do they say, okay, well, you could try this instrument? Okay, you could try playing volleyball or soccer or something like that? Or is it pretty much like, look, I ain't got time for all that. Sit down somewhere, plug that video game in, watch TV, leave me alone. Some of them parents, they do that. I promise you. I see them. They go to the doctor's offices and the restaurants and the stores, and there they is with the little child in the buggy, face all up in the phone. Baby shark, shark, shark. Meanwhile, what are they learning? What are they observing? Every now and then, look, mommy, I want this. No. Why no? No, because no, you don't need that candy, or no, because what you just picked up cost $70 and we only got $50 to shop with. What discussions are you having? If you're not having good ones, might be something you want to think about. So anyway, that is that for that topic. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for all the input, guys. We are now moving on to our second topic for the evening. That topic would be, stand by. We are just a few of many. What do you mean, Eba? What you talking about? Let me break this one down. United States of America is where most of us who are tuning in are located. The 50 states, the country that is the United States, 50 separate states. I think we have very much learned that every state is different in its own way, shape, and form. We do not all think the same. We don't have the same needs and understandings and whatnot. It's the reason why some people look at COVID like, leave us alone. We only got a few hundred cases. We don't care about no COVID. And other people look at it like, man, if y'all don't put some mask on these people, our hospitals is full. Every other person in the county is sick, so on and so forth. So there's that. Also, financially, it's different, okay? What it takes to live in Hawaii is different than what it takes to live in Mississippi. What it takes to live in New York and Los Angeles is different than what it takes to live in like a Indiana or a Kentucky. It's financially different. The dynamics are different. I live here in Detroit with the largest African American percentage population in the United States. In other words, our city is over 80% African American. A large amount of these 700,000 or so people that live here look like me. Meanwhile, you may live in a place and you may have just one or two people that look like me. Or you may have half and half, or none at all. You might be the only one. There is that. But also remember, most of us come from somewhere else. Not necessarily in our generation, but in the generations previous to us. Our people came from Africa, from Mexico, from Puerto Rico, from Dominican Republic, from Canada, Haiti, England, pick a country, okay? When you sit down and look at the actual makeup of the population of the world, United States only represents 4% of the world population. The 330 plus million people that live here is only 4% of the 8 billion plus that we have. Hey, Princess. Leah's checked in. What's going on? Thanks for coming through, Princess. Appreciate you. Big Daddy Ray also in the building. What's going on, Ray? Thanks for checking us out for a sec. But yeah, we only represent 4% of the population, okay? And yes, we often talk about how the United States is the greatest country in the world. That is debatable, people. Am I happy and proud to be American? Yeah. Do I want to live anywhere else? No. Do I recognize that we got issues? Hell yeah. America, we got problems. And sometimes we like to take that broom and sweep them under the rug, but no, we can't do that. COVID is just one of many problems we have right now, folks. All right. What up, Eric? Good to see you. Thank you, Leah. Appreciate that. It's good to be live again. But yes, people, remember the part when they said when unemployment runs out the first week of September, everybody's just gonna have this big rush to go back to work? What y'all see them numbers in October? Will unemployment be down? Obviously. Will jobs be up? Yes. Will most of these places still be hiring? You bet your sweet booty. They sure will. It's what, 3 weeks later? Last time I checked, most of the McDonald's still not open on the inside. Burger King's, Wendy's, pick up fast food place. Most of them still not having indoor dining because they say they don't have enough employees. But they paying $14, $15, $16, $70 an hour, at least here in Michigan they are. But has that been an encouragement to have them come back to work? Nope. No, it has not. Amazon, Target, Myers, Walmart, Piggly Wiggly, pick a place. Most of these places, weeks later, still hiring. Not just for seasonal hiring, period. Why? Because people are not trying to go back to work at these places. Why? Because they seen how it could be on the other side of it. When they gave the people the enhanced unemployment, it was helpful to some, but it also was a wake-up call to most. When you are bringing in $700-800 a week, take home, basically sitting on your butt, and you had to work like a mama to get half of that in a week in some of these places, it definitely made people think, yeah, when it's time to go back to work, I ain't going back to no doggone McDonald's or place. Now, if they ain't going to pay me but this much, and I got to worry about what happens when I get 40 hours, and that part, because do know that's going to come into play, people. Yeah, they hire for $15 an hour at McDonald's now. But guess what? As soon as they get enough employees and get everything back online, yeah, ain't no overtime. We can't afford no overtime and you make $15 an hour. You damn near make what the manager makes. Yeah. Oh, we got too many people now. Yeah, we're going to start cutting your schedule because you make more money than so-and-so that's been here for 5 years. And that type of stuff. Hold on. I'm not going to lie. I'm proud to be an American most of the time. I would say majority of the time. I won't even go as far as most for me. But they was told that was not going to. And yeah, we all knew that. That's why I told you. You know, I told you. In both this podcast and my audio podcast, prepare for the inevitable. Find your good job now while you got your pick of the litter. So that by the time this happens, you could be looking to move up in the world. Because keep in mind, you did that like I did in May and June, started working, you can now be the person in line to be the next supervisor or the next crew trainer and whatnot as the new people come online. That makes you more valuable to your corporation. Yeah, they might get rid of that person last, but no, they're going to keep the person that's training the employees, especially if they're doing a quality job. Yeah, they're trying to give me another raise, I do believe. We're supposed to talk about it this week. But guess what? I don't like training employees no more. Especially some of y'all young folks. Y'all don't listen. Yep, there you go. That get off my lawn type stuff. But anyway, people, we as Americans got to remember, we are not on this earth by ourselves. There are other countries, there are other people that rely on the things that are on this planet. We are not the only people that use gasoline, that need clean water, that are having problems with forest fires, with global warming, with earthquakes, with hurricanes. It ain't just us. We're not the only people having to recover from life after COVID. It ain't just us. We are not the only country having an issue with whether or not people should take the vaccines and job mandates and such. It's not just us. Tati Insight, Dr. Root, welcome, welcome, welcome. Some people are going to have to get a part-time job along with their regular job to make up the difference. Hello? Remember, up until this week, had 3 jobs, okay? And a couple side hustles. So that being said, I completely understand that. Everybody not just gonna come out the gate coming off COVID with a good cushy job. There are some good jobs available for those of you perhaps in the Detroit area looking for a quality job, making more than the average. Please check out this website. Just type in jobs. The city of Detroit is hiring for many things. Many things. If you're looking to do some training for a potential job, you might want to check out, hold on, what I do. You might want to check out this website right here. You go on there, there are things you can do, and in the end, some of them are free, some of them cost very little to get started. You can learn a variety of different skills based upon that. And there are many other websites you can go to. Work from home. Pick a company, basically. Pick a company, go on there and see if they're hiring. Because pretty much every major corporation, major restaurant, food chain, big lot store is hiring right now. Just pick a place, do your research, find out what the job entails, find out more importantly how the training is going and what is required of that, and then find you a good job. You ain't got to be stuck doing manual labor and fast food and stuff. It's a new day, baby. Understand this. But hold on. Again, we are just a few. Okay? America, big place. A lot of people, a lot going on, but not the only thing going on. We just don't realize how good we have it sometimes. There are people waking up and they don't know where their next meal is. They don't know who's going to be taking over the country next. Imagine being somebody in Afghanistan right now under Taliban rule, and they set up a government and they don't know what the new rules going to be, particularly if you are a woman in that society based on what we know of Taliban laws and whatnot. I can only imagine what the thought process is right now. There are other smaller countries being ran by the craziest of folks. The North Koreas, the African countries that we don't talk about as much. Those places. There are also other countries doing way better than us. Remember, in terms of education, we're not even in the top 10 anymore. For all the things we talk about, these schools and having the finest educational places in the world, our basic school system definitely needs some work. Remember that Leave No Child Behind? Let's see how much that's affected by the pandemic when a lot of our children were basically just rubber stamped into the next grade and given no plan as to how to make up for work that they were not given during the pandemic. Do you realize that? Did anybody think about that? I did. Why is there no plan for the children that are behind, that basically learned nothing last year outside of how to plug up the darn computer? For those people that held during the pandemic, you didn't even have no computers. Some school districts was like, well, if you ain't got no internet, we ain't gonna worry about it. We'll get you back up in there when school starts. Here's some packets. Anybody check these packets? Anybody assess the progress of the packets? These are things we got to think about, people. All right. Let's see. Am I still with you guys? Computer's acting a little screwy again. Let me know. But anyway, that being said, people, we got to remember, as Americans, it is on us to be leaders, to show the world the way a good country can work when we all come together. But right now, we got so many problems within ourselves, it's hard to set that good example. And the other countries, they are laughing at us, man. We a joke. When it comes to certain things, we a joke. This whole racism thing and our Democratic, Republican parties and moderate, conservative, all that, compared to some other governments and how they are set up, we is stupid. I think about countries like New Zealand, who basically dealt with COVID head on, and it became so little a problem early on with them, and they still are doing well. And the economy still flourished and all of that. Think about countries like Switzerland, who basically actually didn't have much of a mask mandate, to be honest. Did not require people to take the vaccine. And guess what? They never really had a major problem with COVID. Places like that. Meanwhile, here we are with all the technology in the world. Some of the smartest people on the planet live here in the United States. And we just couldn't seem to get it together enough for about 3 or 4 months to get on the right side of this thing. Please make it make sense, y'all. It's not all about you, America. It's not all about you, citizens of New York, Detroit, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., some of the other places represented here on the platform. The world is bigger than that. And if we don't start to have that understanding, we will soon find out, if we're not already, that we got some problems we really gonna need to deal with head on. Okay? Think about it. It makes no sense that here we are with all this food here in America, and according to one report, we waste 20% of all our food on average per person. In other words, do we eat every last thing on our plate? Nope. Do we eat everything we buy at the grocery store? Nope. How much of that are we throwing away? And for what? And that's if we are set up in that way. We have millions of people here in the United States, millions, I say, that are homeless, that do not know where their next meal is coming from. But yet we got all this space, all these states like Utah and Montana and Colorado that have all these open spaces that have not even been inhabited yet with people. We got all these major cities that have lost hundreds of thousands of people, have all this room and space to be able to just fix up and put people back in homes. But because we are so greedy and so worried about the fact that, okay, if I work for mine, I'm not going to help you get yours. You got to help yourself. So you would rather see that person stay homeless than to give them a boost up to get them back on track. Who does that? Americans. We do that. Who thinks like that? We do. I'm adding me to that. But we got to do better. We got to be better. We got to try to do a better job of helping our fellow man. That is why we bring up this particular conversation. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about how we at the Nighthawk Network want to start to help you and how you in turn can help us. So that is the discussion when we get back. Last commercial break for the show, people. So let's do this and talk about a couple of our shows here in the Nighthawk Network. When we get back, we'll have a discussion on our way out the door. This is Get Off My Lawn Live.
Hey, bitches.
No, shorty, I got this one. I'm your boy Derek, and it's time for the remix.
Once again, coming to you live from Baltimore, Maryland. It's the remix with your boy Gett. Now let's talk about it. All right, y'all, we are back. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Eric Buckner here talking to you guys. Thank you for coming, checking out the show, whether you be here on YT, FB, or here on the Bigo. Appreciate all of you for coming through, for your comments and all of that. Before we head out, I want to talk about how I'm looking to help you guys and how you guys can help me. So let's have this discussion. Here's the thing, people. We don't want to just have discussions every week where here I am talking to you guys for an hour and a half about what's on my mind. I want to hear some of what's on you guys' mind. So yes, I am looking to have people come and be special guest hosts on the show. A few people have asked me about that, particularly here in the Bigo. Definitely would like to have some of you on the show for a week or two. Also, if you have any businesses, you have any entrepreneurships that you want to promote, we definitely want to do that for you. We want to make commercials just like some of those you saw here to promote your business. We also want to have you on the show to promote your businesses and things as well. We need you to reach out to us, my friends. How can you do that? You can hit me up here on the ticker there. You see that is Night H Network 313@gmail.com. There will also be a phone number that we will once again put online for you guys to call, primarily for that reason. Also, my friends, you can contact some of the other people in our Nighthawk Network. That would be Helena Hologram. That would be Demetrius Taylor, also known as Big Meech. That would be Nicole Mayo Corsi, also known as Aunt Nikki. Also, Stan Mason, people that Dr. Marla Farsi. If you are familiar with any of those folks, Pastor Sean Love, you can contact any of them and let them know that you want to do stuff with us, and they will let me know, and we can go from there, okay? Also, we are looking to do things in terms of Nighthawk Network. In other words, we are looking to help out community programs, okay? I'm reaching out to people in the Cody Ridge community, which is close to my household. There are people out in Baltimore in need of some help in regards to certain charitable events. So, Miss Pat, if you're still in the building, definitely contact us to see what we can do to help you, whether it be informational wise or perhaps even financially somewhere down the line. I definitely want to try to set up some funds to help people out. Christmas time is coming in a few months. I definitely want to utilize that opportunity to do something very nice for somebody for Christmas. We will talk about that as we get closer to that. I'm noticing the freezing of the yard here. So yeah, I'm seeing what you guys are seeing. So yeah, we're about to wrap it up. But yes, people, we want to hear from you. We want to interview you. We want to promote you. We want to help you. So please contact us here at the Nighthawk Network and let us know what we can do to help you, what we can do to promote you. Meanwhile, let us before we head out. Talk about some of those shows of which commercials you have seen earlier. Let me also promote myself here for a second. If you are looking for past episodes of this show or future episodes, you can find me on YT at Eric Buckner, Nighthawk Network Detroit. Just make sure that when you go on there, you like and subscribe that bad boy. So that way, next time the show comes on, it will let you know. It will give you some type of notification. And that way, you won't miss it. Or if you're busy and don't have time at the moment when we live, you can go back later on and see the past episodes. I often do that for some of the other shows in the Nighthawk Network when I don't have time to catch them live. Among those shows are the following. Hold on. There we go. That's what we wanted. We got Monumental Moments in God's Word with Dr. Marla Faces. You can actually catch that on Tuesday nights now instead of Thursdays. On Thursday, she's doing No Weapon Formed Against Us. That's Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got This and Tea with Big Meech that they usually do on the weekend around 9 p.m. They should be doing Say What I Said Sunday this evening. That will come soon after this show, so please check it out. We got Let's Talk with Aunt Nikki, the interview series that Aunt Nikki promises will be going back on soon, so stay tuned for that. Stan Mason's Behind the Blue Curtain. You catch that on Saturday at 11 p.m. I need to catch the last episode, so I will be going online to do that myself. All these people have their own YouTube channels, by the way. Girl Stop Podcast with Elena Miller and Letitia Williams Howard. Have not posted the last couple episodes of that. We'll be doing that this week so you guys get caught up like I will. And guess what, y'all? Get Off My Lawn Live, the After Dark edition. Yes, we plan on doing one this week. It will be on Thursday, 10 p.m. That's Thursday night, 10 p.m. We are doing Get Off My Lawn Live After Dark edition. What are we going to talk about? Usually we talk about things of an adult nature. We will leave it at that. That will not air on my normal page. It will only air on the Nighthawk Network page or on the YouTube page. So if you have access to that, there's that. It will not be on Bigo either, y'all. Too spicy for Bigo, sorry. So yeah, definitely check that out Thursday at 10. As you see, H2 is here for it. H2 will also be helping me co-host that show along with the one and only sports guru Hugh Lee. Because, of course, we will have our own show that we do on Wednesday. That would be Game Time Audible with Hugh Lee, the sports guru, and myself. But he also will be one of the co-hosts on the After Dark edition this week. So check it out. And in the meanwhile, people, I would tell you that it was a good show. I'm glad we had these discussions. Thank you all for your commentary. We definitely would like you to continue to check out the show live if you can and make your comments because that makes for a better show. And that's what we always look to have. One more last endorsement before we head out. The Book of Happy, 250 Ways to a Happier You. Get this book. It gives you some very good suggestions for things you can do to make your life a little bit more problematic. Been reading that lately and very much enjoy some of the passages thereof. So check that out, would you? Meanwhile, folks, we're about to get up out of here. So again, thank you guys. We will see you next Sunday for another edition of Get Off My Lawn Live. We got Big Meech checking in just in time. This T will be on at 9:15 tonight. So give Meech a few minutes, and then you can go ahead and check him out. I said I definitely want to peep out some of that before I hit some of my other commitments here. So, yep, shout out to Big Meech checking in. Appreciate you, bro. Definitely going to check out some of the show this evening. As highly suggest you guys do as well. So that being said, we out of here, people. Until next time, as my brother Stan Mason always says, life is not a Trump rally, and we are not out of COVID yet. Please do what we can to help control the spread. Please wear the mask, social distance when you can, wash them hands, wash that butt, all that good stuff. So we all tired of COVID. We want to move forward for real, for real. Okay? Let's do that. But until next Sunday, y'all, be safe, be blessed. We up out of here as soon as I find that doggone outro. I really got to mark this thing better because every Sunday we go through this. And then I find it. Then I say, wait for it. Wait for it. We out.